Real Madrid just announced Bernardo Silva. Today, official, done. And while he is at the World Cup right now fighting to win it with Portugal, the club he is about to join is being rebuilt specifically around players like him. Mourinho wanted him. Perez got him. And the best part? They paid absolutely nothing for one of the best midfielders in Europe. This is the signing that changes everything. Welcome back to Robert's Football Talk. I'm your host, and if you are new here, subscribe right now, because today we are breaking down the Bernardo Silva story from every angle. The Man City exit, the Barcelona hijack, the World Cup dream, and why this signing could be the one that finally brings the Champions League back to the Bernabéu. Let's go. Let me start with the official announcement because this is as fresh as it gets. Real Madrid confirmed today, the 17th of June 2026, that they have reached an agreement with Bernardo Silva for him to become a Real Madrid player for the next 2 seasons until June 30th, 2028, with the option of a 3rd year. Official, confirmed, on the Real Madrid website, done. And here is the part that makes this even more remarkable. Real Madrid signed one of the best midfielders in European football for absolutely nothing. Zero transfer fee. Bernardo Silva left Manchester City as a free agent after 9 years at the Etihad. No transfer fee required. No bidding war. Just a signing bonus, wages, and the vision of Mourinho convincing the best player of his generation to choose white over everything else. Barcelona thought they had him. For almost a year, Bernardo Silva to Barcelona felt like a done deal. The Spanish media reported it constantly. His agent Jorge Mendes was in talks. Atletico Madrid had even reached a verbal agreement before Real Madrid intervened. And then, in the space of 36 hours, Mourinho made his call. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that talks began just 36 hours before a full agreement was reached. 36 hours. Real Madrid hijacked one of the biggest free transfers of the summer in a day and a half. That is the power of José Mourinho when he decides he wants something. Now, before we get into what Bernardo Silva means for Real Madrid, I want to ask you something. Do you think Bernardo Silva, at 30 years old, coming to Real Madrid on a free transfer, is one of the best bits of business in Spanish football this summer? Drop your answer in the comments right now. Robert's Football Talk always has the sharpest opinions on transfers like this. So who exactly is Bernardo Silva, and why did Mourinho make him a priority target? Bernardo Silva spent 9 years at Manchester City. 9 years. He arrived as an exciting young Portuguese winger from Monaco in 2017 and left as club captain. In that time, he won 6 Premier League titles. The Champions League as part of City's historic 2022-23 treble. The Club World Cup, the FA Cup, 20 major honors in total. He leaves the Etihad with 153 goal contributions and a reputation as one of the most complete midfielders the Premier League has ever seen. But here is what makes him different from most elite midfielders. He does not just create. He does not just score. He does the ugly work. He presses without mercy. He wins the ball back. He covers every blade of grass. Pep Guardiola called him one of the most complete players he has ever managed. That is not a small compliment from a man who has worked with Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, and De Bruyne. And for Mourinho's system, Bernardo Silva is absolutely perfect. Mourinho builds his teams with a foundation of defensive structure, organization, and relentless pressing. He then unleashes pace and quality on the counter. In that system, you need a midfielder who can do everything. Press, pass, create, score, and never stop running. That is Bernardo Silva's entire profile condensed into one sentence. This is not a romantic signing. This is a tactical one. Mourinho looked at his squad and identified the exact type of player he needed. Then he went and got him for free. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk right now because we are about to get into the World Cup angle and the Champions League dream that makes this story so much bigger than just a transfer. Because here's the thing about Bernardo Silva that gets lost in all the transfer talk. He is at the World Cup right now with Portugal, and he is not there as a squad player or a veteran presence. He is there as one of Portugal's most important players, their playmaker, their engine, the man who connects Ronaldo or whoever leads the attack with the midfield and the defense. Portugal at this World Cup have one of the most talented squads they have ever assembled. And Bernardo Silva is at the absolute heart of it. Think about what it would mean for him to win the World Cup and then report to Real Madrid for pre-season, the most prestigious club in the world. The manager who specifically chose him above everyone else. A squad being rebuilt around winning the Champions League. That combination for a player like Bernardo Silva, a player who has won everything at club level but never had that international glory with Portugal, is the kind of motivation that makes great players become legendary ones. He wants the World Cup, and then he wants to come to Madrid and win the Champions League. Now let me ask you something. Portugal have an incredible squad at this World Cup. Do you think Bernardo Silva can lead them to the trophy? And if he does that make him one of the greatest Portuguese players of all time? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to know what the Roberts Football Talk community thinks about this one. Because when you look at what Real Madrid are building under Mourinho, the Champions League ambition is not just talk. It is the entire point of this rebuild. Real Madrid have gone 2 consecutive seasons without winning the Champions League. For a club that measures its entire identity around that trophy, that is unacceptable. Mourinho came back to Madrid with one specific mission above all others. Return this club to the top of European football and bring the Champions League back to the Bernabéu. And look at the pieces he is assembling to do exactly that. Bernardo Silva in midfield. A player who has already won the Champions League and knows what it takes to perform at the highest level in Europe over a full season. Cucurella at left back. Confirmed signing. 6 years. A reliable and experienced defender to organize the defensive line that Mourinho demands. Ibrahima Konate arriving as a free agent. One of the best young center backs in Europe coming to shore up a defense that has been too vulnerable for too long. Nico Paz returning from loan. One of the most exciting young midfielders in the world coming back to be a key part of the first team. And Denzel Dumfries also reportedly on his way to strengthen the right side of defense. Then you have the attacking options already at the club. Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr. if the contract situation resolves, Endrick returning and expected to have a prominent role. Rodrigo if he stays. Franco Mastantuono on loan developing for the future. This is not a squad in transition. This is a squad being built to win the Champions League. Right now, next season. And here is the detail that makes the Bernardo Silva signing even more intelligent than it first appears. Real Madrid signed him as a free agent, but the deal reportedly includes a signing bonus of around 10 million euros paid directly to the player, plus fees to his agent Jorge Mendes. So the real cost is closer to 20 million euros in upfront payments before wages. But compared to what Manchester City paid for him originally, compared to what Barcelona or Atletico would have paid in wages and signing fees, Real Madrid got one of the best midfielders in the world at a fraction of what the market would normally demand. That is elite transfer business. That is Florentino Perez operating at his very best, finding the right player at the right moment and making the deal happen before anyone else can react. And there is another layer to this story that nobody is talking about enough. Jorge Mendes is Mourinho's agent. Jorge Mendes is also Bernardo Silva's agent. The same man represents both the Real Madrid manager and the player he has just signed. When Mendes, Mourinho, Real Madrid's head scout Juni Calafat, and general manager José Ángel Sánchez were all seen dining at the same restaurant a week ago, this was exactly the kind of deal they were finalizing. The connections run deep. The relationships were already there. Real Madrid used every advantage they had to get this done. And Barcelona? They thought they had him. For a year, they believed Bernardo Silva was coming to the Camp Nou. He would have worn the badge of the club he supported as a boy. He would have gone home to La Liga, and then Mourinho picked up the phone, and within 36 hours the deal was Real Madrid's. Football is a brutal business, and Mourinho is very good at it. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk and share this video right now because we are getting to the part of this story that I think is the most exciting of all. What does a Real Madrid midfield of Bernardo Silva, Federico Valverde, and Aurelien Tchouameni actually look like? What does it mean for the club's Champions League ambitions? Let me paint the picture for you. Mourinho's best teams have always been built on two things: an impenetrable defensive organization and a midfield that can do absolutely everything. Press hard, control the ball when needed, and then release the attack with precision. At Inter Milan, he had Sneijder and Cambiasso. At Chelsea, he had Lampard and Makelele. At his first Real Madrid spell, he had Alonso and Khedira. Now at his second Real Madrid spell, he has Valverde, Tchouameni, and Bernardo Silva. Valverde covers every blade of grass and scores from anywhere. Tchouameni protects the defense and controls the tempo. And Bernardo Silva connects everything. He presses, he creates, he scores in big games. He does not hide when the Champions League knockout stage arrives. He performed at the highest level for 9 years under the biggest pressure at Manchester City. There is no stage too large for him. Add Mbappe in attack with his pace and finishing. Add Vinicius when he is at his electric best. Add the defensive solidity of Cucurella, Konate, and a backline organized by Mourinho who has not forgotten how to make teams impossible to beat. And you have a Real Madrid that is not just competing for the Champions League. You have a Real Madrid that is the favorite to win it. That is what Bernardo Silva represents, not just a quality midfielder signed on a free transfer. He is the final piece that turns a rebuilding squad into a genuine European superpower. Bernardo Silva is currently at the World Cup giving everything for Portugal. He wants that trophy more than almost anything in football. He has been one of the best players in the world for the better part of a decade, and international glory with his country is the one thing he has not achieved. He will leave everything on that field in America. And when the World Cup ends, he comes to Madrid, to Mourinho, to a squad built to win, to a club with a history of Champions League success that no other team in the world can match. There is one version of this story where Bernardo Silva wins the World Cup with Portugal in July and walks into Real Madrid in August as arguably the hottest player on the planet, where he drives Mourinho's midfield to La Liga glory, where he is the engine behind a Champions League run that ends with Real Madrid lifting their 15th European Cup at the Bernabéu. And that version, right now, after today's announcement, it does not feel like a dream. It feels like a plan. That is the full breakdown. Bernardo Silva is officially a Real Madrid player. Barcelona hijacked. Mourinho's midfield transformed. A World Cup dream being chased. And a Champions League ambition that is now impossible to ignore. What do you think? Is Bernardo Silva the signing that takes Mourinho's Real Madrid to the Champions League? And can Portugal win the World Cup with him at the heart of everything? Drop your predictions in the comments. I read every single one. This has been Robert's Football Talk. Hit that like button, share this with every football fan you know, and subscribe if you are not already part of this channel. New videos every single week, and Real Madrid's summer is only getting started. I will see you in the next one.